too hot in here. All right, there we go. We're live. Good morning, everybody. Good morning to everyone around the country in the relaxation of their homes or beds that's tuned into our live YouTube stream. My name is Rob van der Bijl. I'm one of the executives here at DuePoint, and I'm going to be spending the next 45 minutes or so with you as we go through who DuePoint is, what this opportunity is all about, and what the decision is that we're going to be making this morning. And then after the presentation, you're welcome to come speak to me, ask me any questions that you might have. Quick reminder that after this intro presentation, we've got a Teamworks workshop if you want to attend that. It's going to be about from 11:30 onwards to about 12:15. All right, so let's begin. As you can see, DuePoint is a division of a company called Constantia Insurance Company Limited. Constantia is a registered insurance company. We've been around for nearly 70 years. We were founded in 1952. We registered on the Joburg Stock Exchange under a group called Conduit Capital. The FSP number that we operate under is that one over there, 31111, and that's our license to operate in financial services. You'll notice in the foyer outside above the water cooler, we've got see, there's always someone who's looking at me live. I'm right here standing in front of you. You can come touch me. Come touch me if you want to. So we've got all our Financial Services Board licenses on display for you to go take a look at. We've got a long and short-term insurance license, we've got an investment license, we've got an FSP license, and then we've also got our accreditation with the Direct Marketing and the Direct Selling Association. So go take a look at those. I suspect there must be a number of you that arrived here this morning a little dubious about who this business was. It is a fundamental step for us to create credibility in your mind, right? You have to trust this business. Because we're going to be proposing a partnership today. In the next hour, I'm going to be proposing to you that you partner with us, and that first step is that you trust us. So if you need to go do a background check on us, make sure that we are legitimate. I promise you we are. But in your mind, you have to be able to trust us before you make any decision. The managers and executives are these individuals up on screen. The first three people are registered chartered accountants on the far left there. It's these ones here. You can see they're talking to each other about Excel spreadsheets, and they're ignoring Jane and I, right? So Brendan Benfield's the first executive on the far left. He's our senior executive. He heads up this division. He's got a lot of experience in financial services, particularly insurance. His father is a professor of insurance who taught at Wits for 25 years. His father started Clientele Life all those many years ago. And they're one of the biggest insurance companies in the country at the moment. His father started the IFA. They've started businesses in Europe. They've helped assist start businesses in Australia. Brendan and his brother Stuart, so he's got a brother Stuart, together they found a business down the road called Prime Meridian Direct, or PMD, and PMD is the fourth biggest short-term insurer in the country already. They're not even 10 years old. So we've got wonderful pedigree in Mr. Benfield, and we're very lucky to have him heading up this business, this division. Then Tim and Stacey, they do all the other accounting things like looking after our accounts, the bookkeeping, our financials, all the regulation that we have to keep up with from a financial point of view. Then Jane is very experienced in network or referral marketing. She's been involved in that and direct sales pretty much all her career. She's actually from the UK, although she's been in South Africa for about 10 years, but she's got wonderful experience that she brings to our business. Because even though we're an insurance company, our marketing model that we've decided to adopt is one of network or referral marketing, and Jane brings all that experience. And then myself, I've been working in advertising since the mid-90s. That's a very long time ago. I've got my 25-year school reunion next year. And doesn't that make you feel old? When that school you've already forgotten about tells you you've been out of school for 25 years and you're still driving your Polo. And you're thinking, what have I been doing? What have I been doing the last 25 years? Anyway, so I've been working in advertising. I ran my own agency for about 15 years, fairly successfully, but I exited that business and joined the team here at DuePoint. So we've got client service staff, we've got our admin staff, but the focus, the mandate of staff of DuePoint is to support everybody that joins us here at DuePoint. The people that decide to partner with us, we want to support you all the way. We want to see you happy, profitable, and effective as partners in DuePoint. Why? Because it serves our interests too. We can only be profitable and effective as a business if the people that we depend on for growth in this market are doing what they need to do. And so we do everything in our power to support you. And you'll see that as we go through the presentation. So that's a bit of background on the business. Very quickly, the circumstance that we find ourselves in South Africa is fairly dismal, but I don't have to highlight the pain that we're all going through from a personal finance perspective, because you know your own pain. But very quickly, people that join this business are here to empower themselves to change their circumstance, to take control over their income. Right? We are often at the mercy of all these other factors as employees. Right? And you know it. Look at your last 10 years. How often have you got a raise? Is your raise more than inflation at the moment? Or is your salary falling behind the cost of living every month? Right? Do you open up the newspapers and see the economists moaning about this and moaning about that? And South Africa is in a decline. I mean, countries like Kenya are growing 6 times faster than us here in South Africa. And they've been doing that for the last 10 years. Whereas our GDP in this country, in the last 8 years, our GDP, so the amount of work, money that's being produced in this country is half what it was 8 years ago. Imagine you as a household, I cut your income in half, took half away. That's what the country's experienced in the last 8 years, right? And it's had all these exacerbating effects. We're feeling it personally. People here want to change that circumstance. They want to take control over their income. And so what we did was, 2 years ago, Constantia launched this division called DuePoint because we saw an opportunity in the market. We saw that we could produce a system that empowers people to do exactly that. And so we launched the DuePoint system in February 2016 with a whole bunch of aspirations in mind. Not only income generation. You might be thinking, well, I've come to this presentation, the person that's invited me has told me, come earn extra money. That's true, but that's only half the story. What this business is about wealth creation. Right? And often people don't ever get to think about that, about wealth creation. We just think about how can I earn extra? How can I spend less just to get through the month? But our business is actually about wealth creation. And wealth creation goes a little deeper than just creating more money for yourself. It starts off with understanding that debt is a real problem. There's a very easy question I often ask the audience. Do you want to be wealthy? Right? And everyone goes, yes, I want to be wealthy. Do you think you can become a wealthy person if you owe other people money? Right? And so what does that mean? We need to get rid of our debt as quickly as possible. You have to do that first before you can become wealthy. And so one of the primary aspirations that we have for people in this business is get rid of your debt as quickly as possible. Start paying it off. Make a plan, especially if you start earning an additional income at DuePoint. Don't use it to buy more stuff. Use it to get rid of your debt. Because if you're truly focused on wealth, that's the only way you get to empower yourself to start creating wealth. And we create wealth through the ownership of assets, when you actually start to buy assets, right? And those can look like anything. It can be property, it can be investments, but we buy and own assets that appreciate. And that's what leads to wealth. And ultimately, that whole process leads to happiness. We want to see everyone happy. Often after the presentation, I'll go out and between the crowds, I'll say, how's everybody? Do you have any questions for me? And they'll say, no, I'm shop. I say, don't tell me you shop, you're poor, you got debt. You should be unhappy today. Unhappy with your circumstance. And what we're going to work on is making you happier. Right? Happier through wealth creation. And that's what this business is about. That is the language that we speak here at DuePoint. So how does this work? Our guests here this morning, you have the opportunity to join DuePoint. You enter into contract with us, so you go through a little 7-minute application form. 7 minutes later, you become a wealth engineer. As a wealth engineer, you've got one task, one single task, and that is to go out and build what we call a channel of distribution. And I'll show you what a channel of distribution looks like, but it is basically you just going out and telling people that DuePoint exists. We call it connecting people. Just connect people to DuePoint. Tell them, stop moaning. There's a business called DuePoint. If you want to change your circumstances, go look at this business called DuePoint. And if we are successful in that process, oh, now someone else is watching Generations here during the presentation. Right? And if you're successful in connecting people to DuePoint, and they will come and sit in a presentation or tune into the live stream or watch it on a USB stick on your laptop, however they watch the intro, Brendan and I will do the work of telling them about the business. And if they decide to become wealth engineers and product owners, that is you being successful as a wealth engineer. And that successful process leads to a host of benefits, primarily being that you get to create an additional income. An extra paycheck at the end of every single month, right? Because the income that you produce here at DuePoint is recurring. Now, some people will call recurring income passive income. They'll call it annuity income. My father's got a great term for it. He says it's the ability to make money while you're sleeping, right? He's a gold miner. He can't make money while he's sleeping unless night shift is working while he's in bed. But it's a very powerful benefit, extremely powerful benefit. It's something I came to appreciate when I ran my business for 15 years. And we ran a successful business. We did all the work, all the digital work for Investec. We did a lot of work for Nedbank, for FNB, for ABSA, for RMB, Tsoho Sun. Right? You would look at our business and go, they're being successful. But the problem with my business that I ran for 15 years is that we started at zero at the end of every single month. Every single month, I had to go chase business. It's like selling, earning commission. It's the same thing. You've got to go chase business every single month, because if you don't do work that month, there's no paycheck at the end of that month, right? And that's what we call active income. As salary earners, you're the same. You're earning active income. You've got to go to work for 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, 4 weeks a month, and then only do you get paid. You don't get paid for doing work this month, next month, right? But if you create recurring income, you do. You do, because you're building an asset, and it's the asset that pays you out income. So in insurance companies, we build what we call a book value. The book value has got massive asset value, and that asset pays us out every month because people are paying their financial products every month. They don't pay financial products once off and then never again. That's product-based business, right? And so we get to share in this recurring income. The power duplication is leverage. It's your ability to go out and duplicate yourself. It's the ability to go out and build your business. This channel of distribution that you're building, you're going to go out and connect people. Hopefully good people, resourceful people, people that can do well as wealth engineers, because you're going to benefit out of their effort. So you can multiply yourself. If you go out and find 10 good people that do the same amount of work that you do, you've just multiplied your recurring income by 10-fold. That's an awesome benefit, right? If you're just a commission earner, you're only based on your effort, and your results are just on you, no one else. You can't go build a team. You can't benefit from a team. In this business, you can benefit from building a good team. You can do this business at any time of the day, anywhere in the country. It is completely flexi-time. The technology that we've invested in, the app that we have, everything's online. It means you can do this business from your pocket. From the phone in your pocket, you can run your business. But keep yourself accountable to this business, right? People often make the mistake. They think, let me try it. Let me try it, like it's a New Year's resolution or it's a hobby. I'll do it when I feel like it. You know, if I meet somebody, maybe I'll tell them about the business. That's not the way to do a business that's going to change your life. If you are desperate, and I mean that sincerely, if you are desperately unhappy with your circumstance, you need to let that motivate you to keep you accountable to doing this business every single day. Because that's the only way you're going to change your circumstance drastically. It is difficult to change your life drastically. They've got this thing called generational debt. So they'll say people born into a certain status in life, it's extremely hard for them to change that status. Right? Because their parents are in a situation where they can't change. They'll have typically generational debt, or they'll never create wealth, and that circumstance gets passed on from generation to generation. And that's why I say, if you're going to engage in this business, even though it's flexi time, you've got to work hard at it. It can't be a business that you just do when you feel like it. Right? I want everybody. And statistically, I know majority of the people in this room are not going to succeed in this business. Not because of the system, because we make up all kinds of excuses and circumstances why we can't do the business. We don't have enough motivation in ourselves in the morning to do something that's difficult or hard. But I know there's 20% of you, and I don't know who, so I've got to speak to you all equally. I know there's 20% of you that are going to make a difference in your lives. And that's what we get excited about as staff of DuePoint, is to see people changing, people happy at the end of the month. There's no startup capital in our business, so we don't have boxes of products that you have to buy. There's no registration fees or starting fees. We have kept this business to be as low risk as possible, so that if you come to me and you say, I want to do this business, I know that I'm not going to steal the shirt off your back. Honestly, there are businesses out there that will say to you, no, invest 25,000 Rand in this business and good luck. That is ridiculous. And yet people will do it, right? This whole BTC Global Bitcoin rubbish thing that came. People invested on average 27,000 Rand into that, and they've lost every single cent because the trader has disappeared. That's the excuse. We're not one of those businesses, right? We've got a very low barrier to entry here. We want everyone to be able to engage in this business without worrying about the money that they have to invest in being wealth engineers. At the same time, we don't have qualifications or experience requirements. Again, we want everybody to be able to engage in this business. You can't come to me and say, I want to get involved in the business. I say, just put your CV here. Let me look at it before you start. Right? Anyone can get involved in this business. It is accessible to everybody. You get to build an asset. Now, this is a very important point. Because if I'm proposing, what I said earlier is we're going to be proposing a partnership, right? Know that the channel of distribution that you're building here at DuePoint, you have legal tender over it. It means you own it. It is an asset that you're going to be building. It's almost like your own business that you're going to be building, right? Because if it gets up to, let's say, a recurring income of 5,000 Rand a month, that is a lot of intrinsic value. Right? Something, an asset that produces 5,000 Rand a month is like having 1 million Rand in a bank account, or 500,000 Rand in a bank account. What is it? 1 million? It's close to 1 million. Yeah, it's 1 million Rand in a bank account. That produces 5,000 Rand in interest every month. And so because you own your asset, this channel of distribution, it means you can sell it. You can sell it one day. We've had wealth engineers selling their channels for whatever reason. It means it doesn't retire you. This business will keep paying you into your 60s, into your 70s, into your 80s. What's your boss going to say to you when you start getting close to 60? Right? This whole idea of retirement has been romanticized, but it's actually a dismal looking place for South Africans. Retirement is a dismal place for South Africans, because your income is going to disappear, and we have not done enough in 40 years of working to put together enough investment for ourselves to give us a nice retirement. We don't. 99% of South Africans retire financially dependent. It means you're going to start depending on your children. Remember that generational debt that I spoke about? The parents now become dependent on the children. Like the children need more financial burden trying to get through life. Now they must support their parents. But we think that's okay. As parents, we think that it's okay for our children to support us once we get to retirement, because we haven't done enough to support ourselves through retirement. This business changes that. Your channel will pay you into your 60s, your 70s, your 80s, your 90s. When do you plan on dying? Have you thought about that? Huh? The youngsters are getting worried. They think, I'm too young to think about death. I look at the older people. They've all thought about it, right? And when you die, this asset doesn't disappear. Assets don't disappear, ever. You leave your asset in your will. Hopefully you got a will, and the will say, I leave my DuePoint channel to my wife or my husband or to my 2 children. And that wealth that you've spent building and generating gets passed on to the next generation. Right? That's why this business is about wealth generation. We're not just here to create an additional paycheck. The nature of our business requires no selling at all. This is a great thing. People don't like to sell. Who wants to sell insurance products this afternoon to their friends? One. There's always one. Always. There's always one guy who thinks he's a star salesman and he does well in sales. That's great. The majority of us despise selling. We don't like to convince our friends to buy something, or anyone for that matter, right? We just want to do our job and get it done with. In this business, like I said earlier, you're only connecting people to the opportunity. Because everyone needs this opportunity, right? You look at South Africa and you go, like, 95% of South Africa needs a business like this. Your job is just to connect them to it. Brendan and myself will do the work. You just say, come look at this presentation. You're going to be skeptical and you think it's a scam or whatever, just come look. Give me 45 minutes of your time and come look, and then I will do the selling for you, right? You don't have to speak about our products. You're actually not allowed to speak about our products, right? You can give factual information on the products, but that's it. Those people will decide what they want to do once they've seen the presentation. Your job is just to connect them. The nature of our business, or our products at least, our products are financial in nature. That has got a huge benefit and convenience because we don't have tangible products, right? You don't have to phone Jane and say, I'm coming to pick up 40 kilograms of milkshakes tomorrow because this weekend I'm going to sell. You don't have that issue. Our products and the stock, the distribution, all of it is taken care of in the cloud. Have you heard about things in the cloud? It's IT systems, computers taking care of everything. You won't even know that it's happening. We do all of that for you. There's no cost surrounding it for you, right? And so we make the products here as convenient as possible. But your success here at DuePoint is largely, it's massively, it's entirely dependent on your ability to build a channel of distribution. So this is what we're going to be focused on. This is what your business asset looks like. And you want to grow it. And you want to grow it well. It begins with you. You go out, and in this example, you've connected 5 people successfully, right? And they became wealth engineers, and they took out a product. And as wealth engineers, they now decided that they too wanted to build their channels, right? And that's why this duplication happens, this power duplication, this leverage takes place, whether you like it or not. Because once you've connected people to the business, your business is going to take on a life of its own. Those people are going to go out and start telling other people, right? They're not worried about you. They're worried about themselves. And so they start building their own channels. There's always a lazy one. I'm just going to warn you now. There's a lazy one who said, yes, I want to be a wealth engineer, and then they don't do anything, right? There's actually quite a few of them. But this is the growth that takes place in your channel. And we have got thousands of examples of channels that grow like this beyond this person's effort. Beyond this person's effort. And so my warning to you, not a warning, a tip, it's a tip. Make sure that the people that you connect to your business are good people. I don't mean good in a biblical sense. I mean good in an effective sense. People with resources to thrive as DuePoint Wealth Engineers. I always say you have to imagine yourself as the CEO of your business. And you are building your board of directors, right? There's a lot of people that I meet that are running their own businesses or something on the side. And I say to them, if you're running this business on the side, do you just go out and find anyone to hire? And they go, no. I'm an electrician or something. I find good electricians. I say then, so why do you not do that for DuePoint? Why do you find anyone off the street that wants to earn money? It's the wrong way to do it. Go find the good people, because that behavior filters into the rest of your business. And if you only find desperate people, because everyone wants to earn money, right? If you find desperate people, you're going to get, please call me's, please give me a lift, please show me how to set an email address, please give me data, please, I don't have a smartphone, can you check this? Those aren't people building those channels. Those are people asking you to help them build their channels. The wrong people. Find the right people, and you'll build a business that is sustainable, that produces recurring income every month that you can depend on. That's what a channel of distribution looks like. We've got one big warning for everybody. We are not a get-rich-quick scheme. Who's disappointed by that statement? Everyone's disappointed, right? Because the antithesis of that is, we are a get-rich-slow scheme. Who wants to be part of a slow scheme? You do? I can tell you now, a lot of people run out of patience. That 80% that I told you, I don't know who you are, but 80% of you are going to run out of patience and wish you were part of a scheme that got rich a little faster. So my warning to you is we're not a scheme. First of all, we're not illegitimate. We're a legitimate business. I mean, we've been around for nearly 70 years. You know, I often tease the accountants. I say we operate in a very boring business here. We've got accountants working here, insurance company. I come from advertising. It's a little more flamboyant and energetic, and now I'm working with all the accountants. I have to wear a tie for the first time in my life, right? But it speaks to credibility. Right? You look at people, they're all dressed in ties, the offices are very nice, they've got all these chartered accountants working in the business. You can trust people a little more like that, right? And so I hope we've allayed any fear that you might have. At the same time, Brendan and myself, if we ever give training, you're never going to hear the words out of my mouth, join DuePoint, you can get rich quickly. You can be successful quickly. It does not exist. It doesn't exist, right? The BTC Bitcoin scam, that's exactly what they were promising. Do you know what they were promising people? Listen to this. They were promising people, you invest in Bitcoin, we can guarantee a 2% return on your money per day. Per day. They got nearly 30,000 people to give their money over. Nearly 30,000 people said, that sounds great. That's exactly what I need. Take my money. I'm actually going to go borrow more money and give you some more. That's what they did. Where in the world can you get a 2% return on your money a day? It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Those people were lying through their teeth. And lo and behold, the trader's disappeared. I can tell you where he is. He's on a private island having a party with everybody else's money. Right? My point is that you have to be realistic about the prospects of this business. This business is an authentic entrepreneurial opportunity. And when I say that, if you've ever tried to start your own business, right? Anyone can start a business. Anyone. That's a non-event. I can go get business cards printed this afternoon that say, Robert van der Bijl, CEO, the best company in South Africa, with my cell phone number on, right? Tell everyone I'm a business owner, right? Doesn't mean anything. To make a success out of business, that is a whole nother story. And if any of you have tried that, you will know it is blood, sweat, and tears. It is. There's no way around it. I don't know what to say to everybody, right? But at least you can join a business that has got low barrier to entry. When you try to start your own business, there's costs, massive time involved, right? Lots of risk, and the odds are against you. Here you can join a business where we're very experienced, we've had massive success in the past, we know what we're talking about, and it costs next to nothing. What's the risk? All you're going to be risking is a little bit of your time on the side. So this is my warning. When you go out and connect people, your biggest task is going to get them to trust you. So you're going to say the same thing to them, right? What I say, you get to say to them. Just remember that. People are very skeptical because of all these things that have come in the past. So let's talk about our financial products. I'm going to go over them fairly quickly. They're very straightforward products. They've purposely been designed to be pretty straightforward. So we've got 4. They're all financial in nature. They have financial benefits, each of them. Our Access Wealth product is our investment product. It's going to cost you 324 Rand every month. And 100 Rand gets invested into a tax-free investment fund. So we take full advantage of the tax-free legislation that exists in South Africa for people that want to have those accounts. And then we've got 120,000 Rands worth of personal accident cover. So the personal accident cover only covers you in death through accident, but if you're killed in an accident, we pay out your beneficiaries 120,000 Rand plus whatever's in the investment. And the investment, you can draw the funds out of the investment at any stage. There's no notice or delay period on the investment. But as Brendan said in his training on wealth creation, if you keep drawing money out of your investment, it's not an investment, right? Then it's just a check account or a current account. You need to leave the money there. The longer you leave it, the more it makes, right? That's the whole point of investment. So this is our investment product, Access Wealth. The second product is called Wealth Guard. Wealth Guard is only personal accident cover. So there's no investment. It's 249 Rand a month, but this time you get 1 million Rands worth of personal accident cover. Now, as I said, it only covers you in the event of death through accident, not through illnesses, not through natural causes. But the beauty of this product is that it's accessible to anybody, right? So if you are 60 years old and you've got heart problems, guess what? You can take out this product. The premium is the same. The premium doesn't go up with age. The premium doesn't go up as your health gets worse. The premium stays the same, and the amount of cover that you receive remains the same. Great product, Wealth Guard. The third product is Family Wealth. Family Wealth is our new funeral cover product that we launched at the beginning of the month. It is an unbelievable product. If you know anything about funeral cover, you will appreciate the benefits of this product. So for 299 Rand a month, you get 20,000 Rands worth of funeral cover. We cover up to 5 family members, and we give you 10,000 Rands worth of debt protection. So if you owe 10,000 Rand on your credit card or an Edgar's card or whatever, we will cover that debt when you die. And there are no excluded pre-existing conditions. Again, it doesn't matter what your health status is, you can take out this product and the premium stays the same, right? Typically in the insurance industry, if your health has been affected in any way, your premium goes up. When you get over 40, your premium starts to go up with age, right? This product's the same for everybody. Do you see how we try and make this business accessible to everybody without any discrimination? Beautiful product. You can bump your cover up to 30,000 Rand. You can bump it up to 10 family members. So that is our funeral cover product. Then the final product, Wealth Points, is going to cost you 299 Rand a month. And what this product aims to do is reduce your cost of living. So think about all the money that you spend every single month. We are going to try and reduce that through this product because we've gone to all these partners and we've negotiated discounts from them on behalf of our Wealth Points members. So we've got always on Wi-Fi data. So we've got data, we've got groceries, ShopRite Checkers, we've got a host of online retailers, we've got car manufacturers. If you want to buy a Range Rover, get it cheaper. Right? How much money can you save on a Range Rover if they give you 5% off? We've got Vodri hair care products. We've got restaurants, hotels. We've tried to cover everything, the entire scope of cost of living, monthly cost of living, so that we can reduce your cost of living every single month through this product. So if you're looking for immediate benefit, if you want benefit out of one of our products immediately next month, that's the product to take, Wealth Points. You can take out a product. You can change your product. This is a personal decision you guys are going to make, right, in becoming wealth engineers. So it's completely up to you. If you have any questions on the products, come speak to me. I'll answer anything that you might have. Very quickly, how are we able to pay wealth engineers recurring income at the end of every month? How are we able to take them to Mauritius? How can we buy them cars when they get to rank 11? Because we don't spend a cent on marketing and advertising. The traditional insurance industry spends a fortune on marketing and advertising, right? All that money, they've got a line item on their accounts that says marketing and advertising, and it's a big number. And they pay DSTV and the Star newspaper and the billboard companies and all these broadcasting companies and the radio companies get all that money, right? At DuePoint, because we don't do any marketing and advertising, we take that money and guess who we can give it to? You guys, to our wealth engineers, our partners, the people helping us grow our business. And so we don't spend the billions that the insurance industry spends every year. We take that portion of our budget and we attribute it to what we call our returns and our rewards program. So those are the two ways to benefit as wealth engineers. The returns program, the rewards program. The returns program is the monthly income that you make. The rewards program is the cherry on top. It's the fun that we have, the holidays, the cars, tools, that type of thing. So let's talk about the returns program. How do you make money every single month? We pay a base return fee of 27.50 Rand for every successful connection in your channel, right? So remember the slide with all the dots on it, your channel. Imagine getting paid 27.50 Rand for every single dot that you saw on the screen every single month going forward, right? But it's actually dependent on where that product lies. So on your first point, these are people that you personally introduce. We call that your first point. And on your first point, you get paid 55 Rand for every single product on that first point. And then on your second point, when those people go out and start to build your channel, that product lies on your second point. And again, you get paid 55 Rand. Not once off, every single month now going forward, right? That's why you want to build your channel, because you're building your asset, and as you build your asset, your recurring income gets greater. You're giving yourself an increase every single month. To the third point, now you see the multiplier drops back to 100%, and then as your channel starts to grow out further and further and further, the multiplier drops all the way to 4% by 0.8, but we don't limit you at 0.8. From 0.8, in theory, to infinity, you can carry on earning the 4% of the 27.50 Rand. There is no limit on how big your channel can get at DuePoint. Think about that. There is no limit to how big your channel can get at DuePoint. We've got wealth engineers in the space of 24 months that are beyond 0.30 already in their businesses. That's in 2 years. You've got to ask the question, where are they going to be in 10 years? In 20 years? We don't limit the size of their channels, and we don't limit how much money you can earn at DuePoint, right? So this is the mechanics of the rewards. This is how we figure out how we're paying you, or sorry, the returns of what we're paying you at the end of every single month. The next natural question often is, well, how much money do people earn in this business? If I'm going to sacrifice time, enter into this partnership with you and start sacrificing time to build a channel, what can I expect? Because I need money now, right? That's how we all feel. I need the money now. So this will give you an idea of how much money you can earn here at DuePoint. It's based on a growth model. So it's an assumption or a premise that you can bring 3 people into this business in your first month. So connect 3 in the first month in July. We've got a little bit of July left. 3 people in July. Every other month you bring 2. So we call it the 3 + 2 growth model. So 3 in July, 2 in August, 2 in September, 2 in October, 2 in November, 2 in December. Even in December, yes, when you're on holiday and you're feeling lazy, you're still going to put in 2. January, when you're depressed and broke, you're still going to put in 2. Winter, when it's -5 outside, you're still going to put in 2. Right? And if you can keep doing that for the next 5 years, these are numbers you can expect. After 6 months of doing that, you're going to be earning around 2,500 Rand a month. Now you're thinking, to wait 6 months for 2,500 Rand when I need it now. But now I'm going to give you a lesson on wealth creation. Right? Without being patronizing, because this is a valuable lesson. Something I learned. I learned something from the accountants. Right? The accountants are very stingy with their money, if you've noticed. And what I learned was I make the mistake, and this is a problem that I have to deal with daily, because it's not something I just suddenly changed for myself, is that I think like a consumer. Like a consumer. Right? I like nice stuff. Do you also like nice stuff? Anyone got that problem? Right? And so when I look at money, so if you show me 2,500 Rand, you say, here's an extra 2,500 Rand. I go, sure, I can finally buy that one nice thing I had my eye on. You give me 10,000 Rand. I go, oh, I can buy that other nice thing I had my eye on. Here's 100,000 Rand. Oh, I can buy that nice thing for 100,000 Rand, right? That's how consumers think. Realistically, if I put 2,500 Rand under the chairs today, like Oprah, I was having a giveaway for everybody, and you had 2,500 Rand under your chair and you put it in your handbag. Some put it here. Depends how much it is. You've got to hide it. Right? How long would it last? We're on the weekend now. How long would that 2,500 Rand last? Right? That's how consumers think. The economy depends on consumerism, unfortunately. Right? You always hear the economists, the economy is going to change around when we start incentivizing consumers a little more and spending, and you're thinking, is that not the root of our problems? Right? Wealth creation. Do you think someone who's focused on creating wealth looks at the 2,500 Rand and goes, how can I spend it? No, they don't. They don't, and there's very few people that think like that, because 2,500 Rand can have more value than the 2,500 Rand. If you spend it, it only has the value of 2,500 Rand. But you can use it to make more money. And by paying off your debt faster, you are actually making yourself money. Do you realize that? I'm going to illustrate it for you. Here's a R1 million bond. Someone owes the bank R1 million on a property they financed. Right? They're paying 11,500 Rand for 20 years before they get to own that property. 20 years, 11,500 Rand. But 6 months of DuePoint successfully, you're earning 2,500 Rand. And you don't spend the money, you put it into your debt, because Rob always says, pay your debt off as soon as possible. Don't wait the 20 years. Don't wait 5 years to pay off a car. Don't let your credit card just keep rolling with debt. Pay it off. And so if you put the 2,500 Rand into that bond payment, that's only an extra 20% you're putting into your bond. You're going to reduce the bond from 20 years to 11.5 years. That's nearly a 50% reduction in your bond term. It saves you nearly 1 million Rand in interest payments you would have made to the bank. That's crazy, right? On a 20-year bond, typically you're paying 2.5 times the value of the asset. The house costs and is only worth R1 million, but you ended up paying 2.5 million for it. If you put little 2,500 Rand in there, you only end up paying an extra 500,000 instead of an extra 1.5 million. Get rid of that debt. If you are seriously focused on wealth creation, get rid of your debt. At 12 months, you're earning already 100,000 Rand in annual recurring income. 9,000 Rand a month, 108,000 Rand every year. Would you like a 100,000 Rand check for December? Imagine how jealous your friends would be if you say, I've got my 100,000 Rand check here from DuePoint. over Christmas? They think you're a stockbroker or something, right? On Wall Street. Who gets 100,000 rand bonuses a year over and above their active income? At 2 years, 24 months, you're earning nearly 30,000 a month. Now, I know the number's going to start losing some people. He's going to be saying, oh, now he's talking get-rich-quick scheme money here, right? At 36 months, you're going to be close to 50,000 rand a month. And my favorite example is this one here, 30 months, 36,000 rand, because I know for me, I like the shiny new things. For 36,000 rand, I can go finance a brand new Range Rover. Not that funny little Evoque one. That's not a Range Rover. The big one. The 2 million rand one, right? For 36,000 rand every month, I could be driving that big Range Rover. Or I can make a very boring, very mature decision and pay a 5 million rand house off a little bit faster. If I put that 36,000 rand into a 5 million rand bond, I'll pay that house in 7 years. Finished. Now I start real wealth creation by owning and buying assets. So I buy another house for 5 million rand. And 7 years later, I pay that off. And at 21 years, I've paid off 3 houses to the value of 5 million rand each. I'm retired at 60. I go home to a house that I paid 14 years ago. I've got 2 other properties that I'm renting out for 70,000, 80,000 a month. How does that retirement sound? Do you think you're going to care about going into retirement? Or do you think you'd be looking forward to going into retirement? Right? We have to make the decision 20 years before we get to enjoy that. You still have to drive the Polo and not the Range Rover. Honestly, that's the difficult thing for me. It is, right? And we all have that. I'm sure that everyone has that consumerism little devil sitting on our shoulder saying, buy that, it's shiny. People will think you're doing well. People will think you look nice, right? Got to flick it off our shoulder and do that boring, mature thing and start paying that debt off, because I know everybody's indebted. Everybody. Whether you're earning 5,000 rand a month or 200,000 rand a month, everyone's got debt, right? We keep going. At month 48, we're close to 70,000 rand a month, and after 60 months, 5 years from today, 1 year after the Qatar World Cup, you could be earning nearly 85,000 rand a month. That's R1 million extra a year. Imagine getting R1 million bonus every year, over and above your day job. Imagine when you're earning more than your boss in your flexi-time job. In your flexi-time job. When I talk about liberty, it's when you can tell your boss what you really think about him. Or her. Really? Really? In this job market, we can't. We've got to take the rubbish, right? Some of you might have a nice boss. I've got a very nice boss. He's watching, I have to say that. I've got a very nice boss. And some of you might have nice bosses. But do we really have the freedom to decide what we want to do with our lives, or are we forced to work in whatever job we're given, in whatever position we have, regardless of the circumstances of work? We have to. But this can set you free. Somewhere along this line, you're going to be earning enough where you're going to say, that job is now going to see the back of me, right? But this is all theory. It's theory. It's academic, this number. The number's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, right? So we have to show you people that are really doing it. We've got people that are doing less than 2 a month, right? So we've got Andries Lottering. He's from Kempton Park. He joined nearly 2 years ago. His channel's sitting on 3,500 rand a month in value. We've paid him to date almost 23,000 rand. He's brought in 15 people in 2 years. That's really slow and steady, right? And you might look at 3,500 rand and go, well, if I had that today, like right now, I'd like it. But to work for 2 years towards it, I don't know if I'd be able to do that, right? We have to start appreciating money differently, because 3,500 rand you can spend in half an hour at Mall of Africa, right? But the equivalent, so if you had to save money and you start investing money, because this is a question you're going to have to ask yourself when you get to retirement, because in retirement you've spent 40 years working and you better have saved money along the way. If you want to generate 3,500 rand in interest from a retirement fund, you needed to have saved 834,000 rand. Who's on their way to saving R1 million in their retirement funds? Right? Maybe a handful of us. But who can live on R3,500 once they're retired? Right? And so I asked the question, well, how much money do you need every month once you retire to carry on living? And the number goes 5,000 Rand. Everyone shakes their heads. 10,000 Rand? Can you live on 10,000 Rand? Can you live on 15,000 Rand? 20,000? So 20,000, we can live on 20,000. Well, how much money do you need in the bank? How much do you need in your retirement fund to retire and earn 20,000 Rands of interest a month? 4 million. Anyone saving towards 4 million Rand? All right, so everyone's joining DuePoint. Congratulations. We all need DuePoint, right? So don't look at 3,500 Rand and go, there's no value in it. It's equivalent to nearly R1 million in a bank account. And the beautiful story around Andres's circumstance is that he's got a health condition where he can't leave his house. He's still doing the business. He still does the business because he just needs his phone, he just needs to be able to speak to people, and he signs them up. That's it, right? So it's a lovely story. Then we've got Petrus, the gentle giant. He's always well-dressed, always. It makes us look bad. He joined 10 months ago. The value of his channel is sitting at nearly 5,000 Rand a month. He's brought in 14 people. So in 14 people, 10 months, so he's closely tracking 3 plus 2. And you can see the leverage. He's brought in 14 people, but he's got 121 products in his business. Do you see that he's depended on those 14 people to go out and build and build and build, and that's translated into 121 people. Then we've got Casper and Madeleine. So Casper's also an interesting story. He joined 2 years ago. See, we don't only show the superheroes in our business, right? Because that's almost unrealistic. We can't all expect to meet the standards of some of the superheroes in the business. We show you normal people that are just growing at maybe what we would consider a slow rate. But I'm trying to get you to understand the value of money, of recurring income, and how it can empower you. It doesn't empower you if you give up after 3 months. It doesn't. It's like an investment. You've got to keep going at it, keep going at it. And Casper's story is that he started and he had great success. He was very lucky because he found a superstar. He found a superstar. And that superstar put in lots of product, lots of people into his business. And you can do the same thing, right? Statistically, if you go out and find 100 people, there will be a superstar in the 100 people, right? That will build your business. And this is exactly what happened to Casper. So he joined 2 years ago, but the value of his channel is sitting at nearly 8,000 Rand. He's earned almost 40,000 Rand. Look how many people he's put in. 8 in 2 years. Look how much product he's got in his business. 665 products in his business off of 8 people, right? Because one of the 8 is a superstar. Casper has got massive value that he still has to unlock in his business, and this number will shoot up. 2 million Rand in a bank account would produce 8,000 Rand a month. So Casper's story is interesting because he had success in the beginning, right? And then he went through this long slump, 40 days in the desert. That's what he experienced. But the key thing to take away from Casper's story is that he didn't give up. He might have disappeared, and we thought he gave up, but he was still there. He wasn't active, but he was still there. And when he got his story together, right, because he had a lot of detractors. He was always coming to us and telling us about his family or telling him it's a scheme and this. I'm like, Casper, leave those people alone. Go build, go push, just keep pushing in the business. And eventually, 3 months ago, for whatever reason, he saw the light. He had some wonderful support in the business around him, and he saw the light and he suddenly started growing again. And his income has doubled in the last couple of months. He's earned an iPad. He's earned an extra 10,000 Rand last month, right? And now he's happy again. Everybody's going to go through this. Even the superstars in our business go through this, right? It is unrealistic to expect not to go through dips, right? Everyone has 40 days in the desert. You can come complain to me. That's my job. I hear the complaints. You can come say, people aren't doing this, they're blah, 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 blah. You can moan about everything. I'm there to support you because everybody is going to experience it. The key thing that we take away from these lessons is these people did not give up because they are waiting. You just have to wait. It's just about time. You push harder and you wait for the next rise, the climb in your business, because it is going to happen. As much as the dips happen, the rises happen too, right? But the people that give up, they disappear, they cancel their products and they walk away in the dip, they don't even know what they're sitting on. We've got a lady who did that 4 months into the business, was earning 4,000 Rand a month. She walked away from the business. Guess how many people she's got in that channel today? If we pull up her report, and we showed it at our Converge Awards evening in February. She's got over 7,000 people in her business. She's selling holidays down the road here somewhere, right? Guys, if you keep jumping from opportunity to opportunity to opportunity, you are the person that keeps leaving in the dip. You're the person that keeps leaving in the dip and changing systems, changing opportunities, and you will never get to the next rise. That is not a problem with the system. That's a problem with you, right? If you want to change your circumstances, you have to change yourself. It's not about, oh, I found something that's now made me a superstar. You have to be the superstar, right? We can design the most perfect system in the world. If you have that same attitude where you leave when it gets tough, it doesn't matter what the system looks like. We've got thousands of people that join this business every single month. Everyone is different. Don't look at them. You're coveting your neighbor. Look at me. Look at me. The decision you need to make is, what do you want out of this business? What do you want out of this life? DuePoint, we can offer a lot of things. A lot of things here at DuePoint. The decision is not what you want. It is, what are you prepared to change in your life to make DuePoint work for you? Practically, can you practically think about what you're going to change in the next week if you become a DuePoint wealth engineer? Because I'm proposing to you in this partnership that you sacrifice a lot of your spare time. Watching sport, watching TV, relaxing, time with your kids. You have to find time to sacrifice, to spend connecting people to DuePoint. And that's the practical consideration that you have to make to be successful in this business. Joining is very easy. 7 minutes, you become a wealth engineer. Read the code of conduct, right? Tells you what you can't do, so we don't fire you from the business. Complete our online training that will only empower you in this business. Set goals for yourself. Write your goals down. I say this, I don't know how many people are actually going to do it. Write your goals down. Write them down. You don't have, you can put them on the fridge so the family can see them, or you can put them in an envelope and put it in your drawer. But write your goal down with a date on it. It's a little trick to make you think properly about your goal. It's very easy just to go, oh, I wish I was a millionaire. That requires zero thought. To write an actual goal down, a realistic goal, suddenly pulls you into, well, how do I achieve that goal? Right? The thought process is suddenly evoked when you write things down, if you didn't notice that, right? Anything, any planning you do, always write it down. And then start speaking to people, because the only way to connect people is by speaking to them, and speak to someone every day. Whether they say yes or no, it doesn't matter. Don't worry about the stuff you can't control. The only thing you can control is whether you're going to speak to someone today or not. You can speak to 3 people in a row. They all tell you it's a pyramid scheme. There might even be close family members that supposedly love you. Right? But just keep speaking to someone every day. Right? You will get the yeses. It's again, you have the dips and the rises. You get the no's and then you get the yeses. In the workshop after this presentation, we're going to speak about that in depth. Merchandise, again, to empower your building of channels. Consider the merchandise. This is not us trying to make money out of wealth engineers. This is a pain in our behinds to administrate. But we know these are tools that will help you be more effective in building your channels, because these paint a picture of credibility. If I sit down with a notebook and a pen and business cards and I say very seriously to the other person, I'm here to discuss a business with you that can potentially change your life. Or I just sit down with nothing, right, in my shorts and slops, tear a piece of the diary off to write my name and number on. Who do you think is going to have more success? Take your business seriously. If you take yourself seriously and your life seriously and your future seriously, take this business seriously, right? The merchandise is there to empower you. Join our Facebook page, content all the time. YouTube channel's got all our training on, and we do the live streams 8 times a week through the YouTube channel. Download the mobile app onto your smartphone. One investment you're going to make in this business, if you're serious about it, is a smartphone if you don't have one, because your business runs from that smartphone. Right? You can do it off the internet or off a computer, but a smartphone's easier. So get the smartphone. Teamwork straight after this. 11:30 we're going to have a teamwork. So after this presentation, make sure that if you've got guests, sort those guests out quickly, bring the guests to the workshop, because the workshop discusses the most important factors about being a wealth engineer. We declutter the business completely, and I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to focus on to be successful. Right? So that happens straight after the presentation. Our rewards program is the cherry on top in this business. The fun that we have. These are the visceral rewards. Just getting an amount of money deposited into your account every month is not very visceral. So our rewards program creates a little more community in our business. It changes culture in the business. We try to use this to curve your behavior so that we get good behavior out of wealth engineers that help you build your business better. And so it works like this. Got all these tasks. If you complete these tasks, you earn XP. And the tasks are wealth engineer things. It's coming to presentations, bringing guests with you, doing home presentations, logging into your app every day, and you earn XP when you do these things. And when you're earning XP and your channel grows, there are rewards waiting for you. So you will start out as rank 0. To get to rank 1, you need 1,000 XP. You need 4 products in your qualified channel. So that's very easy to do. That's the first step, really. And you get an extra 55 Rand reward at the end of the month, once off. And you keep doing that. You keep doing wealth engineer things. You will get more XP, and your channel will start to grow. And as you start getting more XP and your channel grows, you rank up. And as you rank up, the rewards get bigger and better. 20,000 Rand checks, 50,000 Rand checks, tools that empower you in building your channels. Business cards that cost us 12,500 Rand per set to get made up, right? Because when you sit down at a meeting and you put one of those business cards on the table, your credibility is up here. Because I can tell you, in 20 years of advertising, I've never seen anyone with business cards like this. It was a pleasure designing these business cards. Right? I've never had the luxury of designing business cards this expensive that are gilded in gold. There's no ink on these business cards. They actually don't get printed, they get manufactured. Because the old man in Western Cape has got to gild the gold on the side of all the business cards. You remember the Bibles in the old days? Typically the Bibles were gilded in gold on the edge. It's the same process. Rank 7, those business cards are waiting for you. Rank 9, our first recurring reward. We take you and your family to our Rank 9 conference every single year for the rest of your life. Business class flights, 5-star luxury resort, all expenses paid trip. Every year for the rest of your life, right? Take a look. We documented last December's. You will recognize people in the video because it's not a fake video. It's real. And I want you to imagine your toes in the warm sand. Your children being offered champagne in business class. You've drawn, you've sunk to the ocean sun where no one can see. You stand on at the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up. So that's available for everybody in the room. Everyone in the room. Not just the ones I like. Not just the ones with business experience. Not just the ones with degrees. Everybody in this room can get this. If you can get to rank 1, you can get to rank 9. Because all it requires is speaking to somebody every day. Right? At rank 11, we spend $250,000 on a brand new car. We buy it cash in your name. We don't lease it. We don't rent it. We don't give it to you with terms and conditions. The car is yours. Thank you for the work you've done so far. No DuePoint stickers. The car is yours. Best car to own in South Africa. Paid off, no debit orders, and paid by somebody else. That's rank 11. Our rewards program goes up to rank 28. This you can do in 2 years if you're one of the superstars, right? Maybe it takes you 3-4 years to get to rank 11. Now you're going on a business class trip with your family every single year. You've got a car that you're driving around that you never had to pay for. What happens at rank 28 when you get there in 25 years' time? Right? Do you start to see the personality of DuePoint? Do you see that we are long-term? We're not short-term smash and grab. We are long-term, right? But the people that are going to go with us long-term are the people that are built for endurance and persistence. The people that have patience. The people that don't quit when it gets a little tough. And so what is the decision we are left with today? The decision I want to know that you're making is, how am I going to change myself and my life this week to fit DuePoint in? And I invite everybody, I invite you to come join us here at DuePoint, right? We don't sign you into a 12-month contract or ask you for 20,000 Rand. We just ask you, come, look at one of our products, become a wealth engineer. There's no risk. So if you're skeptical, if you're thinking, I still don't trust this guy, because he's in advertising, you can't trust people in advertising, at least give this business a shot for 30 days. That's what I propose to the skeptics. Give this business a shot for 30 days. And in those 30 days, I want you to speak to 30 people, whether they say yes or no, because you will get lots of them that say no. But if you can just find 2 or 3 that say yes to you in the next 30 days, you will be richer next month than you were last month. And that's what I invite you to come do. So if you have any questions, come speak to me. But I hope that for the 5 months remaining of this year, you empower yourselves. You set yourself on a path that is going to change your circumstance. Because for the majority of us, 90% of us are not going to change our circumstances. I invite you to change it this morning. Thank you. We'll see you at the workshop afterwards. Just a reminder again about the workshop. Starts at 11:30. So you've got 25 minutes to sort your guests out.